What's up guys, Shouri here, and today I'm going to tell you some strategies I found for 5v5 solo and duo that I think might serve you well. It definitely did for me. And the biggest thing is playing Iris has changed a whole lot in this game. So it's not for the reasons you may think. The reason this video is 20-something minutes long is it's going to go over different things in Control and both of the different maps for Escort, and it definitely shows a different side to Iris in every single game type because there's different strategies. And guys, please, if you do get something out of this video, please like and subscribe to help it in the algorithm. I spent a whole lot of time figuring this stuff out, so if it helps you, please help me out with a like and subscribe. Either way, we are going to get on this, and the first thing you're going to want to try is the strategy that is all about the damage, baby. Well, more importantly, the kills. So basically what you want to do as Iris is go out there and put your Piebot on any of your teammates, preferably the tank if you have one. And what you want to do is stay back as far as you can, because if you are out of combat as a healer, you heal yourself. So if you can put your heals on the tank and kind of stay back out of the line of fire, you can a lot easier switch your healing targets, and more importantly, use your 5v5 ability, which gives 20% damage onto an enemy. And that is gonna be the key to your success as a solo or duo. And the reason for this is, as a solo, your worst thing is you're playing other people willing to play that in 5v5. This normally means newer players or people who are just used to losing and don't care. But if you can have everyone on your team focusing on one single target, that actually increases your chances of working together by a ton. So having that little symbol above the enemy actually does make your team do teamwork, even if they're not very good. So the other really important thing is, you being the good player on your team, you can choose who your team bursts down. So you want to choose things like either an Osus or a Scotty if they're behind you, or in this case, this Mark that kind of came behind us. You want to light them up and let your team know, hey, these guys are flanking, or here is an Osus that's about to kill us over on this ridge. Or if everybody's up close to you, you can go for the healer and kind of get people to kill the healer first, and then go for something like a Fort or a Jabali, and that way you can burst down the tank together. And that is why Iris's new gun design is just so great. The fact that you can choose the target and then not really have to worry about constantly steadily aiming on an enemy, but instead doing more of a Scotty-like motion of just flicking over the enemy when it is time to do so, you are able to do so much better of a job to target the right enemies with your ability, and also keep those heals up as much as possible. Remember, every 3 seconds you can use your heal, and the Iris does a burst heal every time you add the Piebot on someone. So you can keep your tank up with an insane amount of uptime with these heals. You actually do more of the heals than a lot of chemists if you constantly are putting it up, because you're going to be healing all 5 people around the tank, but also those burst heals are super important. As you can see here, my teammates are getting low, but those burst heals are just going crazy. We are making sure that we do put really good targets onto the right people, because our teammates are a little lost without it. This was an unfortunate game where we did have a guy that quit out in the last round, so we were playing with one of our guys being a bot. But it doesn't matter. This shows, even with only 4 real players, how effective you choosing the right targets really is. It makes everyone switch to them. It makes it where you take them down pretty effectively, especially considering how bad the team is. we aren't dying that much, and we are getting pretty good kills, and most importantly, mitigating the damage from the other team with our heals. And that's all by just every 3 seconds spamming my heal and making sure that, like I said, having your 5v5 ability on the right targets to help take them down. And the cool thing is, you can actually get crazy amounts of kills doing this with Iris. So right here, we are going to go ahead and put the target on the guy in the back with no health, and we're not even worried about headshots. We're just going for the body shots, getting him down, and it is working perfectly fine. Right here, we do need to stay back to where there's a little cover, because we can get switched and focused, and that is very bad. Remember, guys, if you're out of combat, you automatically heal, very similar to Mark's passive, so you want to be in a position where you can get out of dodge as fast as possible. But sadly, our tank did end up dying. I mean, we don't really have much time left, so I'm just waiting for this Victor to come, and then I'm going to go ahead, light him up, and let everyone know he's coming, and then try to get back out there and help kill him. We didn't get it, but luckily we had 12 kills, no deaths, and 13 assists, but most importantly, our fort had 150k damage taken, but only 3 deaths. And with a better team, this works even better. So what I did was I got my amazing wife Annie to come in and play fort, and we had a very similar situation. We had a guy that had ended up getting either disconnected or quitting, and he was on the chemist, and you can tell he's a bot by the fact that he runs into spawn and like just can't get out and stuff, so that's fun. Either way, we do have some trouble at the start, and you are your team's lifeline. You got to get back, wait for him to come in, and then try to heal as much as you can for him. But you do need to make sure you're playing your life as well as you possibly can. Right here, we're making sure that we have our heals up and staying exactly behind the shields that we can while getting a good angle. That way we can help light people up that are flanking or the Osises, but also not getting shot in the back. This is one of the best spots you can possibly be for this half of this map in defense. We do have a sniper above us, and we got to be careful of that because he is going to want to jump down and snipe us, so we do have to stay to where he can't see us while still trying to do our best to heal our team. The biggest problem we have right here is our healer guy is a bot, and now he's just running back up top somehow. It really sucks, but hey, you know, we can still do this 4v5. I did turn around to go see exactly what he was doing because I was confused, but it ended up getting our team killed, so whoopsies. Either way, I do get the Osis low, and our bot does end up getting the kill cross map. I mean, the only good thing about having bots, I guess. Either way, we are going to go back and just do our best to keep our team alive here, since if we wipe one more time, we automatically lose. But luckily for me, my woman has her ult up, and we also have ours, so we can go in there and heal everybody up, which is exactly what we did, giving our full team the benefits of the heals, and now we only gotta go for another minute and 10 seconds. The problem is, they are almost at the cap point, so we are in a rough position. We get ulted by the Osis, who we've already lit up with our heart, so we are going to have to drop back a little, but we do stay in this really nice spot where we can rotate between these 3 different positions, right here, that middle box, and then where the large heal is, and we can stay hidden from everyone on the map from these locations while healing everyone through the walls or through the cart, and then occasionally poking over to the left to make sure that we are hitting them with our debuff that gives more damage and lets our team know where people are. So the reason that I'm mostly looking to the right and not over towards the left is I need to make sure if someone's coming from the right side, they don't come up behind us without my team knowing, and it lets me see all of their health a lot easier, and keeping them alive is the most important thing right now. So right here, we do a great job of keeping everyone up. The last person that needs a little bit of heals is Annie. We are spamming them as we get them, and we were actually able to win that game. And all of that had to do with having a good fort And then that's pretty much it. I mean, we just healed a whole lot, killed who we could, but most importantly, we just showed our teammates where the guys flanking were. And on this map, it's not too much different. You want to make sure that you're keeping your tanks very healthy, and you want to stay near enough to heal your guys, but you want to stay back enough that you're not directly in the line of fire. Right here, I'm in a very dangerous position because my tanks are just running around, but I am going to be able to go ahead and help take this Osus out. Thank God it didn't go worse than it did, but we were able to go ahead, get him, and then get back towards the hill where my teammates had finally regrouped again. And that's what we want to do. We want to go ahead, get these heals off, figure out where the Osus and if there's going to be a Scotty, make sure that you know where they are, because those are your two biggest threats. The web will absolutely demolish you because his whole team will just kill you very quickly after that. And then also for the sniper, for obvious reasons why they can kill you quickly. Marks are also annoying because of their flank and high damage, but luckily for us, we only really have to deal with one of those characters, which is the Osus. So as long as we are staying and avoiding the Osus and watching our guys who are going too deep in the base and just try to heal them if we can and not overextending if we can't, and just making sure we keep our Jabali up and keep our targets marked. Remember, you want to watch for these yaws and other people who are flanking, because that is your biggest job, especially on control. You want to make sure you're marking the enemies that your teammates don't know about. Sadly, our teammate ran in there by himself, and that was unfortunate. We try to keep him alive because a tank being alive is always better, but sadly he went in and died, and so we had to get out. The biggest problem with this is, if we get staggered to where we're running in one by one and die one by one, we will lose the game. So what we're going to do is just let the guys die and then come in and try to do our best to keep them alive while the tank's there as well, which really sucks that we had to just basically waste an entire 20% of the hill for them. But, I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do. It's your job as the healer to not run in and die by yourself. You have to wait for that tank to come back up and go in as a team unit. We did end up getting sniped pretty hard. I mean, that Osus, he wrecked me. Sadly for me, this was really late at night to get this footage, so I am playing on very foreign server. I mean, it's quite laggy. Either way, it doesn't matter, because for healers, your heals work just as good. The bullets don't always work just as good, but luckily, your main thing you're doing is healing and marking the enemies. Your bullets, they're helpful, but they don't necessarily matter. Right here, what we're going to do is make sure we get that last kill on the low guy, and then go back in the hill, keep our guys full of heals, and just try to stay line of sight as much as possible. Remember, if you are out of combat, you automatically heal yourself, leaving your Piebot to do all the work on your teammates, and it kind of almost is doing a double healing effect at that point, because you're healing yourself by just being out of combat, and then it also makes the other enemies have to chase you, and that frees your team up to do a little bit more. So we did have a little bit of a rough start with lag, just things didn't register too great, and then I reset my iPad. We come back and then start recording again, and we're doing pretty good. My teammates did a really great job in the beginning without much help from me since I was resetting. But once we got back in, we were doing work, keeping our Jabali alive. He wasn't doing anything special. He was just keeping his shield up a lot, which is very good, keeping us shielded. But we wanted to make sure that if they came behind him, we would let him know by marking people, and then also we are trying to heal him as much as we can to keep him being that nuisance so the other team can't really ever take the hill back from us. Luckily for us, our teammates were doing a great job on Ya. He does end up getting killed by a Mark Victor combo, but hey, what you gonna do? We do end up helping take out the Mark, and then we're gonna go ahead and light everyone in the hill up, and then we just get a ton of kills on the low people that are left over, giving more heals back to the Jabali and getting the win. So right here we are on Escort, and this one's kind of a mix of both. We're going to be doing damage like we did in the first one, but we have better teammates, so we are going to be able to just heal as much as possible and not necessarily worry about doing the damage. It is quite different when you don't have to get all the kills, and instead you are more focused on your marks and making sure you keep those heals up. And the main thing I want to do is keep pressure on this Osus, keep making sure that he has that mark when I can give it to him, and do as much long range damage as I can, considering we only have one damage hero, which is a Christina, which is not the best 5v5 hero. So we are basically just doing our best to heal through all the damage with 2 tanks, and then I'm gonna end up having to try my best to take out the guys that have to be killed long range, since me and the fort are really the only long range kind of damage we got, and the fort's busy with the cart and keeping everyone alive. Right here, we are going to go ahead and ping target onto the Jabali, but then I realize my teammates are in a lot of trouble in chasing someone, so I go back around and just kind of forget about marking people for a minute, and then make sure they stay alive. And now that we've actually successfully gotten behind enemy lines, I go ahead and target the guy onto the cart to help out my teams to kill him, and then we're going to try to go for the next guy after that. Sadly, my teammates weren't really in the best position, and I knew the sniper was on the left, so I went around to kind of go and try to hit him from the side to help my teammates live there. We do end up flicking onto the guy on the right while healing the entire time. Remember, you kind of want to spam your pie bot as long as people are low, but because of the fact that we had a chemist that was doing burst healing, and I also had already topped everyone up, I was just letting the pie bot sit on top of the fort, because having that extra 10% damage and all the heals on the main tank is always just a better idea, especially if you also have chemists that are giving burst heals. So the chemist did end up changing to a different character, which was really good because we didn't need double tank, double healer, and we actually ended up switching to only having 1 tank and 1 healer, which is much, much better. I am gonna say, guys, it is rough still, and thank God that we do have a great fort. You do want to at least go in as a group of 2, that way you know that you'll have a good tank, or if someone else chooses tank, you'll have a good Scotty or Osus to play with. So I always recommend at least finding one buddy if you're gonna do 5v5. Solo can be very brutal and literally causes me to have depression sometimes, so yeah, if you got one good buddy, that's really all you need to make this work. I mean, you can do it solo, but I mean, if your entire team plays the wrong stuff, it can get rough. Luckily, again, we did have people playing the right stuff, and if you play 5v5, all of these tricks work there too. It's just, this is probably the only success I've found inside of playing solo or duo, is just having an Iris with someone playing Fort very well. Right here, we are going to use our ult to stay alive, and we do run away from the Jabali just enough to get him low, and we have our teammate behind him, Annie, doing an amazing job on the fort here. We are going to just try to keep him lit up and stay kind of hidden, that way we don't get killed by an Osus. That's really all I'm worried about, is getting hit by either Osus or having somebody come behind me with like a mark flank or a yaw. And these guys would switch teams a lot, so I never knew exactly what heroes they would be using. But right here, we did see most of our team fall, and we had a very low Christina, so I ran back to go ahead and put heals on Christina, and then wait for my team. And as we saw people were in our back base, I wanted to try to light them up and give people a little warning. Sadly, these fights did not go our way for very long, and I was forced again to go all the way back and wait for my team because we are at the very end. We have stalled so well, and we capped it in a reasonable time, but we still have about a minute to go. So what I did was I confused the mark, and then I just stayed in that little corner waiting for my team and healing them while staying line of sight as much as possible. I did end up dying there, which sucked a lot because I could have cost our team really bad there. But right here, we do spawn in time to get here, and we are keeping these guys healthy enough, and we're going to push in and try for this last team fight. It doesn't really matter however it goes, but I had my ult up, so we wanted to try to at least win it anyways. We do a great job to keep everybody alive here, and then we decide, since we've already won, let's just go ahead, sit in base, let them score, and we do end up winning. And here's the real proof of how OP this is. We did 100,000 damage for 5 kills, 7 assists, and we had our fort have 3 deaths but take 100k damage. While the Jabali had 2 deaths, taking 130k damage, and this does not include shields. And the next round's no different. Annie, only 5 deaths with 111k damage taken, and as an Iris, we do 112k damage ourselves. This is just so much damage you can pump out. The heals are insane, and it just makes your team able to live even against a much better, higher damage team, and in my opinion, is a complete game changer for solos and duos in 5v5. So if you've liked this or got something out of it, please like, subscribe, and share this video. I'd really appreciate it, and I hope you have a great day.